The night was quiet on the alien world. Only the low hum of strange insects filled the air. A small fire burned inside the human camp, casting long shadows on the ground. The soldiers were tired. They spoke softly, their voices heavy with exhaustion. Some repaired weapons, others checked supplies. The forest around them was dark and silent. Then came the sound. At first, it was so soft that no one noticed. A faint cry. A sound of pain and fear. It was a voice, high and trembling, breaking the silence of the night. The humans turned their heads. The cry grew louder, desperate, filled with sorrow. From the edge of the forest, a small figure appeared. A child, not human, but alien. Her skin glowed faintly in the firelight. Her large eyes shimmered with tears. Her steps were unsteady, her body shaking. She stumbled into the camp, clutching her chest as if her heart might break. The soldiers raised their weapons at first, startled. They had never seen such a young alien so close. But then they saw her face. It was not a face of hate. It was a face twisted with grief. A face that begged for help. The child fell to her knees in the dirt. Her voice cracked as she cried out, "Please! Fix my mom! She will not stop shaking!" The words silenced the entire camp. Every soldier froze. The fire popped softly, the only sound in the heavy air. No one moved. No one breathed. At last, one human stepped forward. She was not a soldier but a doctor. Her name was Dr. Elena. Her eyes softened as she looked at the child. She saw fear, but also hope. Elena knelt down, her hand gentle on the child's shoulder. "What do you mean?" she asked softly. The child sobbed harder, her small body trembling. "My mom is sick. Her body shakes. She cannot stop. No one can help. Only you. Please." The soldiers glanced at each other. Some shook their heads. Others looked uneasy. They had heard stories. Alien illnesses were dangerous. No cure, no safety, no guarantee that human medicine would work. But Elena's heart ached as she watched the child cry. The tears rolled down the girl's glowing cheeks. Her tiny hands gripped Elena's arm, refusing to let go. She was desperate. She had walked through the dark forest alone. Her courage was greater than her fear. Elena's voice was calm, though inside she felt the weight of the choice. "Where is your mother?" she asked. The child lifted her head slowly. Her eyes were wide, shining like glass under the firelight. "In the village. She is dying. They say only a human can heal her." The camp grew silent again. The soldiers exchanged worried glances. No human medicine had ever been tested on this species. One wrong move could kill the woman. And if the mother died, the humans might be blamed. Elena felt the fear around her. But she also felt something deeper. She saw a child who should have been safe in her mother's arms. Instead, she was alone in the dark, begging strangers for hope. Elena pressed her hand gently to the child's cheek. Her voice was steady, but her chest was tight. "I cannot promise. But I will try." The child's eyes widened. She cried again, but this time with a spark of hope. Her small fingers clung tighter to Elena's sleeve, as if afraid she might vanish. The soldiers whispered in the background. Some thought it was too dangerous. Others thought it was a trap. But Elena's mind was already made. She could not ignore the plea of a child. The campfire flickered, and the shadows grew longer. The alien child's sobs echoed in the night. And in that moment, every soldier knew this was no ordinary mission. This was the beginning of something greater. For the first time since the war began, a human was not being asked to fight. She was being asked to heal. Elena rose to her feet, helping the child stand. Her voice was firm. "Take me to her. Show me your mother." The child nodded quickly, wiping her tears with trembling hands. She looked back toward the forest, then to Elena, as if to make sure she would truly follow. The soldiers watched, unsure, but none stepped forward to stop her. They knew they could not. The child took a step, then another, leading Elena into the darkness. The firelight faded behind them. The forest loomed ahead, full of secrets, full of danger. But between the trees, a single truth burned bright. A human doctor had answered a call for help. And the fate of a family, perhaps even a world, now rested in her hands. The night closed around them. The cries of the child lingered in every heart that remained in the camp. They knew they had witnessed something rare. Not war. Not death. But the fragile spark of hope, carried by the sobs of an alien child who believed only one human could heal. The forest was alive with whispers. Strange birds cried in the distance. The trees seemed to move as shadows passed between them. Elena followed the alien child, her steps quiet but steady. Behind her, the human camp grew smaller until its light vanished. The child moved quickly, though her legs shook with fear and exhaustion. Every few steps she looked back, making sure the human doctor was still with her. Her large glowing eyes reflected the faint starlight. Her voice was soft, trembling with every word. "My mom, she is waiting. She shakes all the time. She does not sleep. She cannot eat. Please hurry." Elena kept close, her medical bag tight in her grip. Her mind raced. She had treated human diseases. She had faced battlefields full of wounded soldiers. But she had never treated an alien. Every system inside their bodies might be different. Her medicine could heal or it could kill. Yet when she looked at the child, she could not stop. The girl's tears glistened as she stumbled over roots. Her small hand clutched Elena's sleeve whenever she felt afraid of the dark. After what felt like hours, they reached a clearing. At the center stood the alien village. Small homes, made of stone and glowing crystal, formed a circle. The crystals lit the ground with a pale light, like moons trapped in the earth. The villagers gathered when they saw Elena. Dozens of alien faces, tall and thin, their eyes shining, their voices hushed. They had heard the child's cries. Now they saw the human their little one had brought. Murmurs filled the air. Some whispered with hope. Others shook their heads in doubt. The humans were known for their strength, not for their healing. The child pulled Elena forward, ignoring the whispers. She led her to a small hut at the edge of the circle. Inside, the air was heavy. The glow of crystals revealed the figure of a woman lying on a woven mat. The mother. Her skin glowed faintly, brighter than the child's, but her body shook violently. Every breath sounded like thunder trapped inside her chest. Her arms twitched as if pulled by invisible strings. Her face was pale, her eyes half closed in pain. The child fell beside her, clutching her hand. "Mom! I found her! I found the human!" The mother's eyes opened slowly. They fixed on Elena with a weak but piercing gaze. Her lips trembled. "You came!" Elena knelt beside her, heart heavy. She touched the alien woman's wrist. The pulse was fast, too fast, like a storm in her veins. Her skin felt hot, then cold, shifting every few seconds. No human sickness worked this way. Elena spoke softly. "I will do what I can. But your body is different. My medicine may not be safe for you." The child gripped Elena's arm tightly. Her voice cracked with desperation. "Please! No one else can help. The healers tried. They failed. They said only a human could stop this." Elena looked at the villagers who stood outside the doorway. Their eyes glowed in the dark. Some were filled with faith, others with suspicion. If she failed, they might see her as a murderer. If she refused, they would see her as heartless. The pressure was crushing, but Elena had faced impossible choices before. She remembered the war on Earth, the children she had saved, and the ones she had lost. Her heart carried their names like scars. Now, on this distant world, another child begged her not to give up. Elena drew a slow breath. She opened her bag, pulling out small vials, instruments, and bandages. The tools looked fragile in her hands, fragile against the unknown body before her. She whispered to herself, "Courage first. Answers later." The mother's voice was faint, but filled with strength. "If I die, I die. But if you try, maybe my child will not grow alone." The words cut into Elena's chest. The child clung to her mother's hand, crying silently. Her tiny body shook as much as her mother's. Elena pressed her palm over the mother's heart. She could feel the rhythm breaking apart. It was like a drum losing its beat. She knew she had only a short time. The villagers leaned closer, their whispers growing louder. One voice rose. "This is madness. The human will kill her." Another voice answered. "No. The old prophecy spoke of this. A human healer. The one who can cross blood and stars." Elena ignored them. Her eyes locked on the mother. Her voice was calm, firm, unshaken. "I will not let you go without a fight." She began preparing her tools. Her hands moved fast, but her heart pounded. This was the impossible request. A human doctor, asked to heal an alien mother no medicine was meant for. The child pressed her forehead against Elena's arm. Her voice was a whisper. "Please save her. You are our only hope." Elena's hands paused for a second. Her eyes softened. In that fragile voice, she heard not only fear but trust. Trust that crossed worlds. Trust that made her believe she could succeed. She took a deep breath, looked once more at the trembling woman, and spoke. "Then I will try. For you. For her. For hope." The room fell silent. The villagers stopped whispering. The crystals glowed brighter, as if the world itself waited for her choice. And in that silence, one truth became clear. A human had accepted an impossible request. The battle to heal had begun. The village was silent as Elena prepared to follow the child deeper inside. The alien mother lay trembling in the hut, her breaths uneven. Every second wasted felt like another thread of her life breaking. Elena looked around the circle of glowing homes. Dozens of villagers stood watching. Some with hope, others with suspicion. She felt their eyes burning into her back as if judging her every move. The weight of their fear pressed down on her. The child tugged Elena's hand. "Come! I will show you." Her voice was soft, but her grip was strong. She pulled the human doctor through a narrow path between the huts. The glowing crystals grew brighter as they walked, filling the ground with pale silver light. Elena noticed something strange. The light flickered in rhythm with the mother's breathing, even from a distance. It was as if the whole village was tied to her life. If she stopped breathing, the glow might fade forever. The child led Elena toward the heart of the village. There stood a great stone, carved with markings that pulsed with light. The villagers whispered it was the Heartstone, a sacred place where their ancestors prayed. The child spoke with trembling lips. "This is where my people come when there is no hope. My mother was brought here." The stone listens. But the stone does not heal. Only you can. Elena placed her hand on the stone. It was warm, alive, almost like it had a heartbeat. She felt the energy run up her arm, strange but not painful. For a moment, she wondered if she was standing inside a living creature instead of a village. The mother's body lay nearby on a woven mat. Her skin glowed brighter than before, her tremors violent. Her breaths came in short gasps. Her child knelt beside her, crying softly. Elena dropped to her knees and opened her bag again. Her hands moved quickly, pulling out vials, bandages, and small metal tools. But her heart raced. None of this was designed for alien bodies. She would need more than medicine. She would need courage, instinct, and perhaps something beyond science. The villagers gathered closer, forming a circle around the Heartstone. Their voices rose in low chants, as if calling for their ancestors to witness. Some eyes were full of hope. Others glared at her with doubt. Elena could almost hear their thoughts. If she failed, the village would turn against her. The mother's chest rose and fell violently. The sound of her struggle echoed in Elena's ears. She pressed 2 fingers to the woman's throat. The pulse was too fast, like a drum being beaten without rhythm. Her body was shutting down. Elena whispered under her breath. "You do not have much time." The child clutched her mother's hand, sobbing. Her voice cracked with despair. "Please, please save her. You promised." Elena's heart twisted. The girl's eyes shone like pools of broken glass. She was young, too young to understand death. But she understood love. She understood loss. Elena touched the girl's shoulder gently. I will not give up. The girl nodded, her tears falling like stars across her glowing skin. Elena turned back to her patient. She thought of her training, of human biology, of the countless times she had trusted her hands to find answers. She placed her stethoscope against the alien chest. The sound was strange, deeper than any human heartbeat, but familiar in rhythm. She listened, her brow furrowed, her breath steady. She realized something. The woman's body was fighting itself, burning with energy it could not control. It was not an infection. It was not poison. It was something else. Elena pulled out a vial of human serum designed to calm violent seizures. Her hands trembled as she held it. If she injected it, it might save the mother. Or it might end her life instantly. The villagers murmured louder. Some shouted in their language, voices sharp with anger. Others cried out for her to act. The tension wrapped around Elena like chains. The child threw herself forward, gripping Elena's wrist. Her voice shook. Do it. I believe in you. You are human. You can heal her. Elena looked at her, stunned. The words carried no doubt. Only faith. The doctor closed her eyes for a moment. She remembered the wars on Earth, the times when soldiers bled out in her arms, the nights when mothers begged her to save their children. She had not always won. But she had always tried. Her eyes opened. She looked at the trembling woman. Then at the crying child. Then at the villagers who held their breath in silence. She whispered firmly, Humanity does not turn away. She readied the vial. Her hand hovered above the alien's trembling arm. The air grew still. Even the chanting stopped. The entire village held its breath. The child pressed her forehead against her mother's chest. Please! Elena's hand moved. The needle touched the glowing skin. Every heart in the circle pounded as one. And then the impossible journey truly began. The needle pressed against the alien mother's arm. The glow of her skin pulsed brighter, as if resisting the foreign touch. Elena steadied her hand. Her breath slowed. This was the moment she had dreaded. One mistake could end everything. The villagers stood in a tight circle. Their eyes burned with expectation, fear, and judgment. The chants had stopped. The silence was louder than thunder. Elena whispered to herself, Trust your hands. Trust your heart. With one swift movement, she slid the needle into the trembling arm. The serum flowed into the alien's body. The mother gasped sharply. Her back arched, her glow flickered wildly. The child screamed, Mom! The villagers erupted in panic. Some shouted that the human was killing her. Others pushed forward, ready to drag Elena away. Their voices cracked with anger, rising like fire. Elena's eyes snapped up. Stay back! I am not finished! Her voice cut through the chaos. It was firm, unshaken, a voice of command. The villagers froze for a heartbeat, surprised by her strength. The child threw herself between Elena and the villagers. Her tiny body shook with tears, but her arms spread wide like a shield. She is helping! Do not stop her! Please! The crowd fell into tense silence again. The mother's body twisted on the mat. Her limbs jerked violently. Her breaths came in sharp gasps, like knives cutting the air. Elena pressed her hands firmly on the woman's chest. Her voice was low, steady, filled with calm determination. Breathe. Stay with me. Do not let go. She felt the alien heartbeat pounding under her palms. It was chaotic, wild, fighting against itself. Her mind raced through every treatment she knew. No machine, no medicine, only her hands and her will. The serum was supposed to calm. But it was fighting with the alien's energy. Elena realized she had to guide the body through the storm. She closed her eyes for a moment. She let her memory bring back the battlefield. Soldiers trembling in seizures. Children gasping for breath. She had steadied them with her hands, her words, her strength. She would do the same here. Listen to me, she whispered to the alien woman. I know you can hear me. You are stronger than this. You are a mother. You cannot leave her. Fight for her. Fight with me. The woman's glow flared, then dimmed, then flared again. Her chest rose and fell violently. Elena pressed harder, steady, unshaken. She counted each breath. She matched her own breathing with the woman's rhythm. In. Out. In. Out. The child copied her, crying but breathing with her mother. Her small voice echoed softly. In. Out. In. Out. The room filled with their rhythm. The villagers watched, silent now, afraid to break the fragile pattern. Minutes passed like hours. Elena's arms grew heavy. Sweat ran down her face. But she did not stop. Her eyes locked on the woman's trembling form. Finally, the convulsions slowed. The breaths became longer. The violent shakes turned into small tremors. The villagers gasped. The glow of the crystals around the heartstones steadied. For the first time, the air did not feel heavy with despair. But it was not over. Elena knew the danger was not gone. The serum had slowed the storm, but the body was still fragile. One wrong step and the mother could slip away. She reached into her bag again. Her hands moved quickly, mixing small drops of human medicine with the crushed leaves the child had brought earlier. The alien herbs smelled sharp, like burning metal, but something in them resonated with the serum. She trusted her instinct and combined them into a paste. She whispered, "Sometimes healing is not science alone. Sometimes it is faith." She spread the mixture across the mother's skin. The glow of her body flickered once more, then softened into a steady light. Her breathing grew calmer, more natural. The child's eyes widened. "Mom? Can you hear me?" The mother's lips trembled. A faint sound escaped her throat. "Yes." The villagers gasped in awe. Some fell to their knees, whispering prayers of thanks. Others wept openly, their doubt washed away. Elena's chest rose and fell with exhaustion. Her arms shook, but her eyes stayed locked on the mother. She had not healed her fully, but she had pulled her back from the edge. The child threw her arms around Elena, sobbing with relief. "You saved her. You saved my mom." Elena closed her eyes for a moment, letting the warmth of the embrace reach her heart. But deep inside, she knew this was only the beginning. The mother's life was still fragile. The real fight had only just begun. She looked at the villagers. Their glowing eyes were wide, filled with new respect. Her voice was steady. "I will stay with her. I will not leave until she is safe." The child clung tighter to her arm, whispering through her tears, "You are not only human. You are hope." The words echoed in Elena's mind. Hope. It was the one thing she could never turn away from. The night outside grew darker. The crystals glowed brighter. And inside the Heartstone chamber, a human's courage had been tested. But she had not broken. She had chosen to fight for life. The chamber was heavy with silence. The alien mother's breathing had steadied for the moment, but her body still trembled under the surface. Her glow pulsed faintly, weaker now, as if a hidden fire inside her was running out of control. Elena sat beside her, hands pressed firmly on the mat to keep herself steady. Her muscles ached. Her arms shook from exhaustion. She had fought hard to bring the woman back, but she could feel it deep in her chest. The battle was not over. The villagers crowded closer, their glowing eyes fixed on the mother. Hope flickered across some faces, but fear lingered in others. They whispered to one another, "She grows weaker again. The human cannot save her. It is too late." The child clung to her mother's arm. Her tears fell silently, her body shaking as much as her mother's. She looked at Elena with desperate eyes. "Please! Do not stop. Please keep helping." Elena nodded softly, though her heart was heavy. "I will not stop." She opened her bag again, searching for anything that could strengthen the fragile body before her. But the truth clawed at her mind. Her tools were almost empty. Her medicines were made for humans, not for this alien race. The mother suddenly gasped. Her body arched, her arms jerking violently. Her glow flared bright and wild, filling the chamber with blinding light. The villagers cried out in terror. She is dying! Stop the human! Several guards pushed forward, their long weapons raised. Their voices were sharp, filled with anger. She is killing her! End this now! The child screamed and threw herself in front of Elena. Her arms spread wide, her small frame trembling. No! She is saving her! Do not touch her! The guards hesitated. The crowd froze, torn between fear and faith. Elena's voice cut through the chaos, sharp and firm. Stay back! If you stop me now, she will die. If you let me work, she may live. Her voice carried such strength that even the guards faltered. The child turned her tear-filled eyes toward them. She saved her once. She will save her again. Please trust her. The chamber grew tense. The guards lowered their weapons slowly but kept their eyes locked on the human. The crowd held its breath. Elena turned back to the trembling mother. Her glow flickered like a flame about to vanish. Her heart was beating too fast, her body tearing itself apart. Elena pressed her stethoscope to the chest. The sound nearly broke her spirit. It was chaos. The rhythm was gone. Her mind raced. She needed to act now. But what if her next move ended the life she was fighting to save? Her hands shook as she prepared another small dose of serum mixed with alien herbs. She whispered to herself. Trust. Trust the path. Trust the child's faith. She injected the mixture carefully. The mother convulsed harder, her glow flashing like lightning. The villagers screamed. Some turned their heads away, unable to watch. Elena gritted her teeth and pressed her hands on the mother's chest again. Her voice rose in command. Breathe! Stay with me. Do not give up now. The mother's body jerked, her mouth opening in a silent cry. Her chest heaved violently. Then she collapsed back onto the mat, limp, her glow dimming. The villagers cried out in despair. She is gone. The human has failed. The guards raised their weapons once more. Their eyes burned with anger. This ends now. The child screamed, throwing herself against Elena's chest. Please! Do not hurt her. Please! Elena wrapped her arms around the girl, holding her tightly. Her own eyes burned with tears, but her voice was unshaken. She is not gone. Not yet. She pressed her ear against the mother's chest. A faint sound reached her. A heartbeat. Weak. Fragile. But still alive. Elena raised her head, her voice steady and strong. She is still here. Do not lose faith. The villagers froze. The guards lowered their weapons again, uncertain. Hope flickered in their glowing eyes once more. Elena placed both hands firmly on the mother's chest. She began pressing, steady and controlled, forcing the body to fight again. Her arms ached. Her breath grew heavy. But she refused to stop. The child joined her rhythm, whispering softly, her voice trembling but filled with faith. In. Out. In. Out. The mother's glow flickered faintly, weak but returning. Her chest rose again, shallow but alive. The villagers gasped. Some fell to their knees, overcome with awe. Others wept, unable to believe what they were seeing. Elena's voice was firm, though her face was pale with exhaustion. She is fighting. She has not given up. Neither will I. The child sobbed with relief, clinging to her mother's hand. Please stay. Please stay with me. The chamber pulsed with tension. Every breath, every heartbeat was a battle. Elena knew the next moments would decide everything. And in that fragile silence, one truth became clear. This was the breaking point. The moment where hope could live or die. The chamber fell into a stillness so deep that even the air seemed afraid to move. The alien mother lay on the woven mat, her chest rising faintly, her glow dim but steady. The violent tremors had slowed to a whisper, but her body was fragile, like glass that could shatter at the lightest touch. Elena sat at her side, Her hands pressed gently over the heart that still fought to beat. Her arms trembled with exhaustion, her breath uneven, but her eyes stayed open. She could not allow herself to blink, not now. Every second mattered. The villagers stood frozen in their circle. Not a whisper. Not a chant. Only wide glowing eyes locked on the human doctor who had pulled their kin back from the edge. For the first time since the struggle began, fear and anger were replaced with silence. The child knelt beside her mother, her small hand gripping tightly onto Elena's sleeve. Her tears still streamed, but her voice was softer now. "She is still here, isn't she? She is not gone?" Elena leaned close, pressing her ear to the faint rhythm in the alien chest. The heartbeat was weak, but it was there. Her lips curved into the smallest of smiles. "She is still here. She is fighting." The girl gasped softly, her sobs breaking into shaky breaths of relief. She buried her face against her mother's arm, whispering words only the two of them could share. Elena lifted her gaze to the villagers. Her voice was steady though her body shook from the weight of the moment. "She needs peace. If you want her to live, do not fill this room with fear. Be silent. Let her rest." The command struck them like thunder. One by one, the villagers lowered their heads. The guards placed their weapons down. The chants did not return. The entire chamber surrendered to silence. The crystals around the heartstone glowed gently, pulsing like the rhythm of a sleeping heart. The light was no longer wild or violent. It was calm. It was waiting. Elena wiped sweat from her brow. Her body ached as if every muscle had carried the weight of the universe. But inside, her spirit grew stronger. She had not lost a mother. Not yet. The child turned her wide eyes to Elena. Her voice was quiet, but filled with hope that had been missing before. "You saved her. She was leaving, but you pulled her back." Elena shook her head slowly. "She is not safe yet. Her body is fragile. She is balanced between life and death. This is only a pause. The true healing has not finished." The words chilled the villagers, but the silence remained. No one dared to break the fragile moment. The mother stirred faintly. Her eyes fluttered open, weak but alive. She turned her head slowly, her gaze finding Elena. Her voice was a whisper, broken yet full of strength. "You did not let me fall." Elena leaned closer. "No. You are still here. You still have a child who needs you." The mother's trembling hand lifted weakly and touched her daughter's face. The child broke into fresh sobs of joy, pressing her small hands over her mother's fingers. "Mom! You are with me!" The villagers gasped softly. For them, this was a miracle. Never before had anyone returned from such violent trembling. The prophecy they whispered of, a healer from another world, was no longer just a story. But Elena did not allow herself to celebrate. She had seen patients survive the storm only to slip away in the calm that followed. The silent moment could be as dangerous as the storm itself. She adjusted the alien mother's body gently, lifting her head, easing her breathing. She crushed more of the glowing herbs and mixed them with a small drop of her serum, applying the blend across the woman's temples and chest. The glow of the skin softened further, as though it accepted the mixture. Elena's heart eased slightly. Perhaps instinct had guided her correctly. The villagers remained still, their eyes reflecting the glowing crystals. Their silence was heavy, not of fear, but of reverence. They had never seen a human like this. Not a warrior. Not a conqueror. A healer. The child's voice broke the silence, filled with awe. "You are different from the others. You did not bring fire or steel. You brought your hands. You brought your heart." Elena looked at her with tired eyes, her lips forming a soft smile. "I only brought what I had. Sometimes that is enough." The mother's chest rose more evenly now. Her glow steadied, not strong, but no longer wild. The storm had passed. The silence now held hope. The chamber remained still for what felt like hours. The villagers did not move. The child did not let go of her mother's hand. And Elena did not close her eyes, afraid the fragile balance might break if she turned away. Finally, the crystals dimmed to a gentle hum, like stars resting in the earth. The night outside was deep and quiet. And inside, the silence became sacred. The silent moment. The breath between life and death. The place where hope dared to return. The first light of dawn touched the alien village. The glowing crystals dimmed as the sun rose, casting golden beams across the Heartstone chamber. The long night had ended. But no one moved. The villagers still stood in a circle, silent, watching. Their glowing eyes followed every breath of the alien mother who lay on the woven mat. Her body was weak, but her chest rose steadily now. Her glow was gentle, soft, no longer wild. The storm was gone. The child had not slept. She had not let go of her mother's hand even once. Her small eyes were swollen from tears, yet her face shone with hope. Every time her mother's chest lifted, the child smiled through the pain. Elena sat nearby, her back against the Heartstone. Her arms hung heavy, her eyes red with exhaustion. She had given everything she had. Her body felt broken, but her spirit was alive. The silence of the chamber broke as the mother stirred. Her eyes opened slowly. Her lips parted, and a faint voice escaped. "My child!" The little girl gasped. She threw herself onto her mother's chest, crying with joy. "Mom! You came back to me!" The mother's trembling arms lifted and wrapped weakly around her daughter. Her glow brightened with warmth, no longer burning with pain. For the first time, her embrace was steady. The villagers gasped in awe. Some dropped to their knees. Others whispered prayers of gratitude. Their faces, once filled with doubt, now shone with wonder. One elder stepped forward, his long robe trailing across the stone. His voice carried the weight of centuries. "We have seen many things. We have seen fire fall from the skies. We have seen steel tear worlds apart. But never have we seen this. A human who heals." He turned to Elena, his eyes glowing brighter than the rest. "Among our people, there is an old prophecy. It spoke of one who would come from beyond the stars. Not to destroy. Not to conquer. But to heal. Today you have fulfilled it." Elena bowed her head, her voice quiet but firm. "I did not come for prophecy. I came because a child asked for help." The elder nodded slowly. "Then perhaps that is why it was true. Prophecies are not about destiny. They are about faith. And you gave us faith." The villagers murmured in agreement. Some wept openly, tears glowing faintly against their cheeks. They looked at Elena not with suspicion, but with reverence. The child turned to Elena, still holding her mother's hand. Her voice trembled with joy. "You saved her. I will never forget. My people will never forget." Elena's tired eyes softened. "You gave me courage. Your faith carried me when I almost failed. You were braver than anyone I have ever known." The girl's eyes widened, her small lips curling into a shy smile. "You mean that?" "Yes," Elena said softly. "You believed when no one else did. That is what saved her." The mother's weak voice joined them. "She believed, because she carries my heart. And now, because of you, my heart beats again." Elena reached out, resting her hand gently over the mother's. "Rest. You are safe now." The chamber filled with silence once more, but this silence was not heavy. It was not fearful. It was sacred. It was filled with the quiet power of hope reborn. As the sun rose higher, its golden light poured through the doorway of the chamber. The crystals reflected the sunlight, scattering beams across the walls. The whole room glowed with a mix of two worlds, the light of the alien stones and the warmth of a human dawn. The villagers stepped forward, one by one, bowing their heads to Elena. Their voices rose together. "Healer of worlds. Human who brings life." Humanity remembered. Elena lowered her gaze, humbled by their words. She had not come for titles. She had not come to be remembered. But she understood now that this moment was larger than herself. The child hugged her tightly. "You will not be forgotten. You are part of our story now. Forever." Elena wrapped her tired arms around the girl, holding her close. she whispered softly, her voice breaking with emotion. Then promise me something. Promise me you will grow strong. Promise me you will carry this hope for others. The child nodded, her glowing eyes shining with determination. I promise. The village elder raised his staff toward the rising sun. His voice echoed across the chamber. Let it be known. Humanity does not only bring war. Humanity can heal. Humanity can give life. The villagers repeated his words, their voices powerful, filling the air with a song of hope. Their chant carried beyond the chamber, into the forest, into the sky, into the dawn itself. Elena closed her eyes for a moment, letting the sound wash over her. Tears rolled down her cheeks, not of sorrow but of quiet triumph. She had fought through fear. She had stood at the breaking point. And she had chosen life. The mother lived. The child smiled. The village believed. And far beyond the horizon, across the stars, the story would travel. A story not of war, but of healing. A story of one human who answered a cry in the dark. A story of humanity remembered.